Chainsaw Man is wild, and we're going to talk about it because I sat down and read this whole series in one sitting, and I regret absolutely nothing. So be warned, Chainsaw Man spoilers ahead. My first impression of Chainsaw Man was that it was fun and a violent romp, but it wasn't really much beyond that. But dear God, I was wrong. Because around the chapter 80 mark, everything just clicks. All the character development, all the plot lines just converge to be a crescendo. And it is just amazing. It was like finding out about Texas Roadhouse bread for the first time. And people say that a series is cooking all the time. And no, not every series is in fact cooking. Some authors have no idea where their story is going. But Chainsaw Man, this series was literally cooking. My boy Denji cooked up and fucking ate a person. If anybody says a series is cooking from now on, it better end like this. So the premise of Chainsaw Man is pretty simple. You have things called devils who are the embodiment of human fears running around and killing people. And they get hunted by devil hunters. There's far more to it than that, but that's the basics. First things first, Chainsaw Man is not for everybody. It is hypersexualized and hyper-violent. Its themes do run deeper than that, but if you don't like blood and half-naked people or waifus fresh off the factory conveyor belt, you probably won't like it. And trust me, you can get pretentious about Chainsaw Man. But I'm going to do it a little bit here because my interpretation of this series is I think it's primarily about loneliness. Or at least that's the main focus of Denji's character. Because on the surface level, Denji is just the most pathetic horn dog man alive. And on a deeper level, he is also the most pathetic horn dog man alive. But Denji's real problem is that he's a victim of emotional abuse. And that's really why he's so easily manipulated in this series, which seems to be overlooked by a lot of people. It really goes unmentioned that Denji is like 16 years old, and he is constantly being taken advantage of throughout the entire series. And I really think the ending of Chainsaw Man is going to be Denji discovering what interpersonal relationships are really all about. Because Denji is just a neglected kid that doesn't understand how to form relationships with people, because he never had the opportunity to. But throughout the series, we see him form these relationships, and it's done so well. Reading Chainsaw Man feels pretty surreal, because the actual characters are pretty grounded, but the world they're in is just crazy. 90% of this guy's motivation is one giant attempt to clap cheeks, and he'll probably get there one day, but not until the very end. Because for Denji, hooking up with somebody is the real problem solver here. But in reality, what he really should be doing to solve his social ineptitude is make friends. And that's what he actually ends up doing in this series. So personally, I think this is done pretty well. And the fights in this series are top notch, and they never stay too long. An alarming amount of fights in anime and manga have people just standing around instead of fighting. But in Chainsaw Man, you just get jumped. And if somebody swings something at you, well, there's a 70% chance that you're just going to fall into 3 different pieces. Because in this series, if you're a devil and you have blood, awesome. You're doing great. You don't have blood? Well, that's not good, and potentially even very bad. Because drinking blood will just give you Wolverine healing in this series. At least if you're a devil or a hybrid. And the thing I found the coolest was characters making contracts with devils to give up parts of their bodies to gain part of that devil's power. Making contracts with devils is common in a lot of stories, but usually in other series, the contract doesn't actually cost you that much. But here, you can lose your entire body if you want to get that 5-minute boost. And to be fair, it is a pretty glorious 5 minutes, even if you horrifically evaporate at the end. But that's just the anime price. And the artwork in this series is really simple until it decides to kick it up a notch, where it will then become some of the best quality manga panels you will ever see. And the story of this series is really split up into 2 separate parts. I don't want to go into too much detail on what separates them, because even though I've spoiled a lot, I don't want to spoil everything. And I have no idea if this is a popular opinion, but I actually like the current arc more than the first one by a pretty huge margin. And the reason for that is I like that it narrowed the focus down to like 2 characters, and I just like Denji more in this arc. And even though it's just as ridiculous as the first half is, it doesn't feel that way because of how contained it is. Denji just wants to see those damn penguins. So if it isn't obvious by now, I really like Chainsaw Man. Which I didn't expect because it didn't really seem like my kind of series at first. But it pleasantly surprised me, so I'm going to keep reading it, I'm going to make content for it. And if you've never read it and you're still here after the spoiler warning, you should check it out too. This series doesn't really waste your time, it gets right into it, and it's really easy to just pick up and read. And that is my opinion on the Chainsaw Man. And I haven't even seen the anime, so maybe I should do that one day. And if you like Chainsaw Man and other anime content, subscribe for more. And as always, thanks for watching.